I love Brampton. It is one of the best places to live, not in Canada only, but in whole world. In my humble opinion, of course. However, even such an awesome place like Brampton is not perfect in itself and has a great number of pros and cons of living here. These pros and cons can be huge, minor, simply irrelevant to some, or maybe you'll find them important enough to influence your decision to move here. My name is Ladi Dillon, a real estate broker working in Brampton for the last 14 years. So let's cut to the chase and learn what you will love and hate in Brampton, Ontario. Amazing nature to enjoy. Well, if you wonder what is Brampton, then let me tell you its nickname, the Flower City of Canada. And it lives for this name to the day for sure. The city grows really fast and people need new houses, city infrastructure and industrial buildings to go to work and participate in economics. After all, it's one of the most popular places for immigration in Canada. This popularity forces creation of new streets and squares that are entirely treeless. But the people of Brampton do not want to lose their city's magnificent title, and you can see many oases of nature all around the city. I talk here about the famous parks in Brampton. I really think that they are one of the reasons why people love the city so much. These parks are not just for regular stuff like picnic, walks and morning runs. As a matter of fact, there are plenty of hiking trails in conservation areas where you can explore the true beauty of Canadian nature. Places like Heart Lake Conservation Park or Clairville Conservation Area are famous for a reason. And even if you don't plan to live in Brampton, you should go there anyway. They are unbelievably beautiful. Now let's talk about the traffic in Brampton. If you're looking for a pleasant driving experience, please go somewhere else. As a city, Brampton has a lot of good features. However, almost everyone who lives here can say that the traffic here is just horrendous. But what causes this amount of traffic? Maybe people here can't drive, but then why are Brampton drivers so bad? The answer lies on the surface really. It's not the driver's fault, but the number of them. The fast evolving city just can't handle so many cars on the roads. And it's not just bad, it never stops. The traffic on the roads is bad all the time everywhere around Brampton, and it gets even worse with the time. Of course, the City Hall tries to build new roads, which will be adapted to new increased traffic needs. But this process can't be quick. And now we have it, too many cars, continuous construction, a higher number of traffic accidents than average, not the most drivers-friendly city. Brampton is a fast-growing big city. Brampton was founded more than 160 years ago and became a full-fledged city in 1970s. Since then, Brampton has not stopped expanding for a minute. And more than 600,000 people live here now. And all of them come here for a reason. Brampton is a great place to live. The city has cultural diversity, growing economics, and the process of construction of new, exciting places just never ends. Another bright side of Brampton is its people. Of course, this is huge, 9th biggest in Canada. The median age of the citizen is 33 years. It makes Brampton the youngest city in Greater Toronto Area and a perfect place for people who are just starting their adult life. Taking into consideration that living in Brampton is a lot cheaper than in other places in Greater Toronto Area, we get just the perfect place to move and grow your family. Let's talk about the high cost of car insurance. Yes, it is a very painful thing to talk about, but the car insurance rates in Brampton, Ontario are very high. It is the most expensive city for car owners in Ontario. And your car insurance here will be 123% above the average price of insurance throughout the province. That's literally shocking. As I have mentioned earlier, traffic accidents are not uncommon in Brampton, so insurance companies know that your car will be more endangered in this city than anywhere else in Canada. Also, the number of new drivers with less than 3 years of driving experience influences interest rates. As mentioned earlier, the city is very young, so are its drivers. Another thing that adds up to the cost of insurance is drivers' needs. Many people who live in Brampton drive to Mississauga or Toronto for work. They get stuck in massive daily traffic in the city, and they are forced to use more congested roads to drive to places. All these aspects and nuances make the rates go sky high. And if you love driving, make sure you should be able to afford it in Brampton once you move in. One of the pros is Brampton is a good place to invest. Definitely, yes. The big and beautiful Brampton is one of the most fast-growing cities in Canada. It is expected that in next 10 years, the population of Brampton will increase to more than 750,000. As for the economic aspect, the city shows continuous growth year after year for the last decade. The same can be applied to the real estate market. New houses come to the market every day. And even more condos and houses will be built in coming months and years. Now, keeping that in mind, we can see that Brampton has a very big potential for investments. With all these new people who come into the city, it will be fairly easy for you to rent out the property. If you want it for yourself, now is the best time because you can count on better mortgage rates now, when the city is smaller and with a big potential growth coming on the way. The dark side of population growth is lack of job opportunities. People can move very easily and fast, but the businesses need the time to be established. Sadly, the city has a high employment rate. It is about 6%. And now competition for jobs has become even more intense nowadays. It is not easy for an average person to find a job in the city. And it's even harder to find for a new residence. That's the reason that mostly people, they go to work in Mississauga and Toronto. The worst thing is that the COVID pandemic made things even harder. By the end of these horrific times, it is expected that the businesses will be open again and the most jobs will come back and unemployment rate will drop down. Brampton cost of living. If you have a job, we have a great news for you. Despite the logical assumption that Brampton must be one of the most expensive cities to live in, that is not true. Because if you compare this marvelous city to the other big boys around like Toronto, Mississauga, Vaughan, etc., you will find that this is much cheaper to live here. And let's not forget that Brampton is just a half an hour drive from Toronto. It is absolutely possible to live in this peaceful, green and very pleasant city and have a dazzling job in Mississauga or Toronto. Let's talk about the health facilities in Brampton. Brampton is lacking behind in healthcare facilities from neighboring cities. Having only one big hospital for this big population has increased the wait time tremendously. That's why many patients prefer to go to Mississauga and other nearby cities to use their medical facilities. That has been a story for the last many years. But things are about to change. The government has recently announced second hospital for Brampton, which is coming soon to Brampton, and it will change things for better. As you see, we can go all day on these pros and cons. Brampton has its pros and cons like any other place in Canada. But overall, it's a great place to live, work, and grow your family here. And that's it for today. Please do not hesitate to comment below if you have a different opinion about this topic. I'll be back with a new video soon. Bye for now.